The Empire Strikes Back introduced the world to the Imperial Walker, the all-terrain armored transport. We see a few other walkers in the films, but there are a great many types of walkers we don't see that are used in the canon and Legends universes. In this video, we'll be covering all of the all-terrain walker variants. I want to start with the canon-only models. The all-terrain tactical enforcer was used by the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars. It was first deployed at the Battle of Geonosis. It carried 6 laser cannons and had 1 heavy projectile cannon. Its 6 legs could be magnetized or even adapted to climb up vertical surfaces. They were considered to be the precursor to the AT-AT. The all-terrain open transport was similar in design to the AT-TE, but had 8 legs instead of 6, and its primary function was troop transport. As such, it was less heavily armed. The all-terrain attack pod was a 3-legged walker used for long-range artillery. The front leg was meant to help stabilize the primary cannon. The all-terrain recon transport was a small, one-man walker used for reconnaissance. Despite being much smaller, their design inspired the AT-DP and the AT-ST. The all-terrain defense pod was one of the earliest walkers used by the Galactic Empire. They were crewed by 1 gunner and 1 pilot and armed with 1 heavy laser cannon. They were a direct predecessor to the AT-ST. The all-terrain armored transport was a 4-legged technological terror and was one of the most recognizable symbols of the might of the Galactic Empire. Standing nearly 23 meters tall, it was armed with 2 heavy laser cannons, 2 medium laser cannons, and could carry 40 troops into battle. The Elite AT-AT came with heavier, darker armor and was also armed with more powerful laser cannons. The all-terrain scout transport was a bipedal walker used against enemy infantry. They were equipped with 2 laser cannons, a concussion missile launcher, and a side-mounted weapons pod. While relatively quick and agile, it was lightly armored and could be knocked off balance. The AT-ST Mark III was built with experimental armor that allowed it to be better protected as well as faster and more agile. It was darker in color and carried 2 heavy laser cannons. The all-terrain missile platform was a 2-legged mobile missile launcher. It was more heavily armed than the AT-ST, but far less maneuverable. The all-terrain personal transport is technically canon in name and appearance, but the rest of what I'm about to say is unconfirmed. The AT-PT was manned by a single soldier, but carried the firepower of an entire squad. They were meant to neutralize especially intense combat zones. Moving on to Legends, we're going back to the Galactic Republic to the AT-EST Exploration Walker, which was a civilian vehicle that could carry 8 passengers and cargo for exploratory missions. It was lightly armed and armored, and not meant for military use. The all-terrain experimental transport was used by the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars, and was similar in purpose to the AT-PT. The all-terrain heavy enforcer was based on the AT-TE, but had longer legs that made it less vulnerable to mines. The all-terrain riot control transport was similar in design to the AT-RT with its top open. However, it had room for 2 crew members. It was used by not only the Republic, but also the Empire and Darth Krayt's Sith Empire 150 years after its original deployment. The all-terrain Advanced Raider was used by the Galactic Empire and was a modification of the AT-ST. It had heavier armor and was smaller and faster, making it more suitable for the front lines. It was armed with 1 heavy laser cannon and may have served as the inspiration for the AT-DP. The all-terrain anti-aircraft was an anti-aircraft walker. It carried a turreted flak pod that could be loaded with a variety of payloads to take down specific enemy airships. The all-terrain armored heavy transport was used during Darth Krayt's Sith Empire. It improved upon the AT-AT, adding stronger armor and many more laser cannons. The all-terrain construction transport was a non-combat walker used by the Empire to build TIE fighters and assist with the construction of the first Death Star. The all-terrain exploration droid was used by the Empire to explore the Outer Rim territories. The all-terrain Kashyyyk transport was an AT-ST variant that was also known as the AT-ST Hunter. They were heavily armed and included large net guns on either side of the cockpit. The all-terrain scout transport / assault was yet another AT-ST variant. It was taller and more heavily armed than the original. Finally, the all-terrain ion cannon was an AT-AT variant that came equipped with a massive ion cannon on its back. It was actually introduced as a toy prototype that never went into production. And that's all of them. Every AT variant of Walker in the Star Wars universe, both Legends and canon. If you haven't seen it already and you liked this video, you might enjoy the video I did covering every TIE Fighter variant. If you're interested in learning more about a specific Walker variant, check out the playlist on the top right, which I'll update as I continue to cover any of them in more detail. Or if you just like learning about Star Wars vehicles, check out the playlist on the bottom right. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to see new Star Wars lore videos every Monday through Friday. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.